Welcome back. I'll never forget these images of all of this incredible inland flooding. Several years after Hurricane Matthew here and Hurricane Florence, hundreds of storm victims are still dealing with the aftermath. Both were very large storms that caused widespread damage throughout eastern North Carolina.
That's right. And the recovery effort did turn into a bit of a bureaucratic nightmare. Lawmakers are trying to make sure that that does not happen again when it comes to Helene. WRAL Capitol Bureau Chief Laura Leslie is live at the legislative building where the head of the program was grilled by state lawmakers today. Laura.
Dan, you know, as state lawmakers grapple with Helene recovery, they're really looking at Rebuild NC as sort of a cautionary tale. More than 1,000 families in eastern North Carolina are still waiting for their homes to be rebuilt 6 years after that program started. Lawmakers today asked current Director Pryor Gibson for his advice on how to avoid making the same mistakes this time. Rebuild NC was created to help survivors of Hurricanes Matthew in 2016 and Florence in 2018 to get back into their flooded-out homes. It was an ambitious program, a bit too ambitious, Director Pryor Gibson told lawmakers.
If looking back in the Eastern Recovery, we would not have done what we did. We gave too many choices. We did exactly what everybody in this room wanted to do, and the governor's office, and the communities, and the homeowners. We gave them as many choices as we could, as many options as we could, as much time as we could. All those extras added up in time and money. Gibson said Grow NC, the Helene recovery effort, needs to be more focused and efficient. You as policymakers and the governor's office, especially Western office, are going to have to make some really hard decisions about what the parameters are, and they're incredibly important. We cannot afford to make the mistakes that we made in NCORE. Gibson also said the state waited too long for federal money instead of using state money to get recovery started. It took until 2020 for the federal money to even get to North Carolina, and when it did, rural areas did not have the resources needed to handle it. And you've got to help your local governments and your infrastructure in the smaller communities get ready for this tidal wave of construction that we hope is coming. Now, in the meantime, Gibson also told lawmakers that Rebuild NC also needs another $217 million to finish its work in eastern North Carolina. He says if they get that money, they will get the job done. Lawmakers were skeptical, to put it mildly. Laura Leslie, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Thank you.